Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christine, and today I thought I would do a little recap of all the things I've been sewing lately. Okay, so first up is a fabric that I showed in my sewing plans video. So this was the striped fabric, and then I had, if you remember, I had a scarf. And so it made its way into a jacket. I sewed this up just in time for Easter, and I paired it with a green cotton blouse I made from my Hudson top pattern. So I am so excited with the way this turned out. I wanted to share some of the details with you. So if you remember, I had two different trims. One, of course, we knew wasn't going to work with this one, but the other one was like a navy blue with a little bit of touch of lavender in it that I was pretty sure was going to work. But once I got the jacket, like kind of the shell made up, I realized it was just way too dark. It just didn't work. And so what I ended up doing was just using the selvaged edge of the fabric. So this edge is actually just the selvage. Luckily, I had enough on the yardage, so two edges of selvage edges that I had, and I had just enough. So what I ended up doing was just sandwiching it. When I top stitched the binding on, I just sandwiched the selvaged underneath, and the selvage, I think I cut it about 5/8 wide. So it's just, maybe like a half inch or a quarter inch hidden under the binding. So that's how I did that. And I then for the actual binding, I used bias, obviously bias, and I didn't finish the edges. So you can see the binding is just, oops, it's also a raw edge. But I used the same exact treatment on the green tweed jacket that I made. So this is my Great Jones jacket pattern. I did just the regular sleeve, the set-in sleeve. It also has a puff sleeve and a vest option. So I made a green tweed one that I've worn to death. Well, not to death. It still has a long way to go, but I've worn it a lot. And I did the same treatment and it's held up really, really well. And so I knew that I could do it on this. So this is just a bias tape trim, a bias trim with a raw edge. And then I just, folded the two edges over and top stitched right along there. So the top stitching is going to prevent it from fraying, which it's on the bias, so it's not really going to fray. So I love this treatment because it's very soft. You have one raw edge here, and then you have the selvage. So it just ended up being a really beautiful combination. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And it was obviously the most affordable choice for the jacket as well. I did it also along the sleeves and along, all across the bottom and all of that. So, and then also on the inside, I'll just show you in case you want to do this on your own. It's raw edge on the inside. So literally just, a strip of bias, just folded in half and folded and top stitched over the raw edge of the jacket. So nothing fancy here. So for the lining, oh my gosh, look at how cute the girls are. I cannot get enough of it. I don't know if I love the inside or the outside better. I absolutely love the combination and how it turned out. So I ended up using the scarf for the front and the back, and then the sleeves, I just did a white that I had in my stash. And I ended up, so this jacket actually calls for a quilted fabric that you quilt your outer fabric, your batting, and then your interior all together, you quilt it. So I went a little bit off of the pattern, which I'm sharing, like you can totally do it. That I, instead of doing my lining, as a layer, and I also didn't quilt this fabric at all, I just, instead of doing it with bound seams, I just sewed the outer, sewed the inner, and just put them together, and then finished the outer edges. So that's how I did it. Some people have asked me if you have to use quilted fabric for this jacket, and you absolutely don't. I think it worked out really, really well in this fabric. The scarf was not big enough to fit all of the pieces, and so what I ended up doing, I had enough to cut one front and then the back, But then on one of the fronts, I actually ended up having to seam two pieces together. And you probably wouldn't have even noticed if I didn't say anything. Anyways, you can see the seam. I had to seam them a piece together to fit the other front, but you can see I had to duplicate the girls. So they're kind of, that's the only thing, but only I will know, and now you. So overall, I am so happy with this project. It is such a fun jacket, and it doesn't wrinkle either, which is really like, I've worn it twice actually. I wore it on Easter and then I wore it to dinner, and you don't even see like any of the wrinkles. So really fun project. So the next project I made, because I am actually getting ready to travel to the East Coast of the United States. I actually leave in the morning. So it's been a little frantic around here getting ready and getting packed and everything. But I'm going to a conference in Connecticut, and then I'm going to New York to finally empty out my storage unit. So if you remember, I did a storage haul video. I'll just pop it in one of the corners where I brought a luggage full of things back. And this time I'm going to empty it out and ship a few things and actually hand over the keys to that unit and just get it off my plate. So long story short, I decided to, I wanted, just kind of thinking about what I'm gonna wear. The weather is still a bit chilly, so I was thinking, and the conference room probably is gonna be cold, so I was like, a little vest might be something kind of nice to have. That way I could wear something very casual underneath, like a long sleeve, like my Rivington t-shirt pattern, a long sleeve crew neck, black t-shirt or a turtleneck, which will keep me, nice and comfortable and warm, and then just pop a little pop of color over it. So I decided to make a vest. This is actually my Great Jones pattern as well. So the same as the jacket, but in the vest version. And I also did this one with the curved neck and the curved bottom, whereas the jacket was the 90-degree angles. So, and I also omitted the little flange on the vest. So if you do that, you just have to trim away the seam allowance, because there is a seam allowance included on the armholes. So yeah, I whipped up this little vest. I will say I almost quit midway. I was so frustrated with this project. I don't know if it was just like the combination of kind of feeling the pressure of time with like leaving, with kind of a lot on my plate to do, and also the silk bias binding, I'm telling you, was just like nearly the death of me. But what actually ended up kind of getting me to finish it was the thought of the unfinished project lingering in my space, and then the decision of then what do I do with it. So I decided just to power through and finish it, and I'm glad I did. I'm definitely gonna bring it. It's gonna be a fun piece. I made it reversible. So this was a black linen that I had in my stash that I ended up using for the kind of the second side. And so this, just has the little trim pop of color, which is kind of nice, a little more toned down. This was a scarf. I don't know if I mentioned that. A scarf that I had gotten for like super, super cheap. And I loved the design. I love that it has this little pop of neon mixed with the pinks. So yeah, I'm glad I finished it, but man, it's one of those like don't look too close, because the binding is pretty wonky. But you can't win them all, and I'm gonna have a little pop of color in my luggage. Okay, the next project you probably saw on my sewing plans video as well. And it's my t-shirt, my granny t-shirt. So I had these doilies they're actually made in India, so they're not vintage. I found them I bought them locally, but I found what I think are very similar or the same on Amazon. So I will drop the link to them below if you're interested in checking them out. So all I did was I just took the doilies, laid them out on the sleeve before I sewed the sleeve, and zigzagged around the outer edges, and then trimmed the fabric from behind. And then I sewed up the shirt just as I normally would. Because this is a knit, I am not worried about it fraying. So here, I think, will it focus? I think it'll focus. So zigzag, and then I just trimmed right around. So obviously it's a white t-shirt. It's not going to be like an heirloom forever piece. So I feel, I'm not worried about the finishing so much of this and like it lasting for hundreds of years. It's a nice, fun piece that'll be, survive a couple seasons. And I love it. I think that it's totally my style, kind of with the vintage appeal, vintage nod with the doilies. So the one thing that you probably didn't see yet, which I cannot believe I did this, I sewed the neckband, and please tell me I'm not the only one who's done this. I sewed the neckband with the seam, the neckband seam at center front instead of center back. Why did I do that? And I didn't just sew it, I sewed it and then I serged it. And I didn't notice it until I was at the ironing board ready to press it. And I messaged my mom, like, I cannot believe I did this. And she was like, you're definitely not the only one who's ever done that. So at the point where I had serged it, and which meant I cut the seam allowances off and, was at really, it was finished at that point. I was like, I am not gonna rip this out. I just didn't have I was so bummed that I did it, but I also at the same hand, I didn't feel like ripping it out. If I had noticed it when I had just done just the sewing, I think I probably would have, but the serging just was like, no, I'm not doing this. So I ended up doing just a little embroidery, little French knots, and a little flower at the center front and called it a day. So it's not, I don't know, it's not like the most ideal situation, but I figured with the, kind of the granny look, a little bit of embroidery was the only way that I was going to save it. So yeah, a little, a little disappointing, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who's done it, and I think it's an okay save. So it's definitely coming with me on my trip. Now, a couple gifts that I've been making. So the first one is my boyfriend's sister is pregnant with twins. So she's having a girl and a boy. And so I decided to make a little matching set. I found a pink, it's like a cotton linen blend, a pink with like just a really subtle pink stripe and then a kind of like a gray stripe. And so I ended up whipping up a little bubble romper for the girl and a little overall set with a adorable collared shirt for the boy. Um, the most adorable collared shirt. I cannot even, I was like, this is the cutest shirt I think I've ever made. And it has like a stand-up collar and everything. It was so cute. And then I made little like receiving blankets. I made them 35 inches square. And I just did the binding along the edges, which I will mention, I forgot to mention with the Great Jones jacket and vest, that I have a full video walking through how we do the binding, which is really, it's such a great technique. So I'll pop that in the description box below and above if you want to check it out. So I did the binding all along the edges. With the little girl's one, I just sandwiched in some trim on the pink side of the blanket. So that way she can have them for the stroller or the car seats or, nursing or whatever. And I've already given them to her. That's why I don't have them in my hands. But she absolutely loved them. And she shared with me she's been buying a lot of practical stuff like the onesies and the socks and bibs and stuff. But this was really her first like fancy thing. So she was really, really excited. The next gift that I made, I think I showed this fabric in my sewing plans video. I think I did. If not, I did it in like a fabric haul at some point. But this is my Carnegie robe pattern. That is a unisex robe pattern. It goes up to, I think it goes up to 4XL. So extra small to 4X. So it's unisex. And so I ended up making my friend Adam this robe. He has a little dog named Lola that I think looks just like this, the print, which is why when I saw it, I had to buy it. I was like, Adam needs pajamas out of this fabric. It's a really nice soft cotton. The only thing is there were only 2 meters left of it, so I didn't have very much fabric. So I didn't have enough to make pajamas, but I texted him and just said, do you mind sending me your chest and your hip measurement so I could kind of, see what I could make out of the yardage that I have? And luckily I had enough for a robe. And so I made him this really cute robe. In order to kind of make it more masculine, I did add the brown bias trim. It's like a gingham. This was actually a pre-purchased bias tape that I ended up just ironing flat and then sandwiching in when it came time to top stitch the neckband on. I just sandwiched the trim under and then top stitched it, and I did a little loop. So I loved the brown treatment. I also did little sleeve cuff as well. I think that the brown kind of made it a little bit more adult and masculine, but it's really fun. I cannot wait to give it to him. I hope he likes it. It's always hard with gifts. You're like, are they gonna like it? I spent all this time. Maybe he won't like understand it or think that it's funny, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna love it, and I'll definitely keep you posted on how it goes. So the very last thing I want to show you, and I have some exciting news, is that I'm going to New York on my trip, and another thing that I'm going to be doing while I'm there, not just my storage and not just seeing old friends, I am actually having, so my slow fashion brand, Lindy, I am now going to be selling in a store on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. A woman a bridal stylist that I know, I was on her podcast several months ago. She is actually opening her own by appointment only store. And so she's a bridal stylist. She helps you do your gown and like all the things for your day, like all of the clothing elements of the wedding. And so she's opening a store, and she bought several pieces to have at her store when she opens, which is this month in May. So I dropped off several pieces to the seamstress, which she's literally finishing them today. I leave in the morning, so really like kind of last minute we're working here. But one of the robes I ended up making myself, and so I have it here. I wanted to show you. So this has just this gorgeous kind of daffodil embroidery with this beautiful hand-done bobbin lace. And then we have it also at the hem. So the hem has on either side, this is the bottom of the hem, just this gorgeous thing. And then on the neckband, I ended up doing this little, I think you can see it, like a little crochet or like needlework trim, just to kind of add a little detail along the neckband. So yeah, I think it's kind of hard to see on video, but it is so pretty in person. And I also did the chain stitch for the belt loops. So this is something that the seamstress that I work with has been doing, and I had never done it. It's a chain stitch that you do. I'll pop up a little video of me doing it. It's really easy. I think that I will do a YouTube video because this is also my Carnegie robe pattern, the same as the one I made for Adam. And I think it's such a great option than the belt loops, because sometimes the belt loops can get kind of clunky, but these are just so fine and beautiful. And so I was really proud of myself for doing the belt loops and them turning out. So yeah, I'm really excited to bring this and see all of my things hanging in a store in New York on the Upper East Side. I cannot believe it. I'm really excited. And also it's a little nerve-wracking to have something that I've made with my own hands in a store. I really, just from making this piece, I realized that I'm a home sewer. I don't enjoy production sewing, as beautiful as it is and as beautiful as it turned out. It was not enjoyable. It was not horrible, okay, but it's not the kind of sewing that I really enjoy doing. There's so much pressure, because if you make a mistake or something's not perfect, it just feels when I'm going to sell it, it just feels, I don't know, kind of takes something away from the sewing experience. Whereas the gifts that I've made have not been perfect at all, but I don't feel like the pressure with a gift. Of course, I want it to be well made, but like little mistakes, I'm just like, that's the charm of it. But when it's something to sell in a boutique on the Upper East Side of New York, I really felt the pressure. So it all turned out beautifully. And so, yeah, I am so excited. I will definitely try to share photos and video in one of my next videos so you can kind of see how it is. I'm really excited, have no idea what to expect. So yeah, now I've got to get to packing. I leave in like 12 hours. Like maybe 18 hours, I think it is that I'm actually leaving. So I've got to go pack these things up, wrap everything in tissue that I have to pack with me. So I will definitely do a follow-up video and let you know how it all goes. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share all my makes. And I hope you're doing well as well. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.